Building a Tenor Guitar, Part 19 at randallprice.com. In today's video, I'll be fitting the guitar top to the body. All of the bracing is complete on the underside of the guitar top, and I'm ready to fit it to the guitar body. The first thing that I need to do to fit it is to trim off the ends of the braces. When I made the braces and glued them to the underside of the top, I made them a little longer than what they need to be, and I do have an outline of the guitar body on the underside of the top, so I can use that as a guide to trim the ends of these braces. So I will do that next. To trim these braces, I'm just using a chisel, and I'm gently trimming off the edges of the braces, and then they're somewhat glued out here on the end, so I need to pop those loose. Just don't want to go too far down and damage the top. I have the end of the braces trimmed back. Now the next thing I need to do is to notch this lining to accept the ends of the braces. So I have marked out for this first brace where the brace is located, and also I marked the depth of the brace, and I will trim that out. I'm going to start with a saw and then switch to a chisel. So I just sawed this at an angle to mark I went out to the edge of the top and then down to the depth that I need to cut. See how this fits in here. Because these two braces are so close to each other, I can't set one down into the body until I get both of the notches trimmed out. So this lining is made of mahogany, so it's pretty easy to work with a chisel. That's pretty close. I'll work on that a little bit more off camera, but you can get the idea of what I'm doing there. So I'll just work my way around the body, trimming out all these notches, and once I get that done, I'll show you how that looks. I spent quite a bit of time off camera notching these the lining out to fit the braces, and I got to where I want it, and all the braces are fitting into the lining, and the top is tight against the sides. So I'm happy with that. I don't know if I can get a shot of this. It's probably just hard to see, but you can kind of see how the braces are cut into the kerfed lining in there. Right now, before I glue the top on, this guitar body is fairly flexible. I can move it in and out and back and forth a little bit. So I need to make sure that this guitar body is in the proper alignment that I want it in when I glue the top on. And one of the things that I want to be sure of is that this neck block is perpendicular to the center line of the guitar, and it needs to be that way so that when the guitar neck is bolted on, the guitar neck and the center line in the guitar are all in line with each other. In order to keep this guitar body in alignment, I've made this simple jig that I'll use to accomplish that. And it's just got a pine board for a base, and then I got another piece of pine screwed onto here, and this piece of pine is at a 90-degree angle to the center line of this piece of pine, and it's also at a 90-degree angle this way. The guitar body sits on it like that, and when I bolt the guitar body to the jig, it will keep this neck block at a 90-degree angle to the center line of the jig. On the other end of the jig, I've made a line at the center line, so all I have to do is line up the center line of the tail of the guitar with the jig, and now both the center line of the tail block and the neck block are in line with each other, and the neck block is at a 90-degree angle to that center line. So everything's lined up the way it needs to be. So different ways of gluing up a guitar. Sometimes luthiers will put the guitar body in the guitar form and leave it in the form when they glue it up. And here's my guitar form. I could do that, but it's kind of hard to get clamps around this form. If you're using spool clamps like I have, you can drill holes all the way around the form and put your spool clamps through those holes. I find this kind of cumbersome to do it this way. Another way to do it is to have a piece of plywood cut out to the shape of the guitar, and then you can lay everything on there and clamp it to that. Again, a little bit more work than what I wanted to do, so I came up with this jig idea, and I just have the guitar form, or the guitar outline, traced to the back side of my top so I can see where I need to be. So I'll just clamp it up this way, and I can look as I go around here and clamp it in some key points to make sure that I'm retaining the outline that I want, and I'll clamp it up that way. Now I've already done a dry fitting of all the clamps to make sure everything lines up and looks the way I want it, so I'm ready to do the glue up now. I'll be using a combination of just regular clamps and spool clamps to clamp the guitar top to the body, and I just wanted to show you what a spool clamp looks like if you haven't seen one. And it's just two round pieces of wood, in this case on a carriage bolt with some cork padding to protect the guitar, and just Just has a wing nut on one side, and as you tighten that wing nut, it clamps down. And I made these. You can buy these, but I made these. I just bought some 1-inch dowels, sliced them up into 1-inch lengths, drilled a 5/16 hole in the center, and glued some cork to the surfaces and put the bolts on them. And this cork is just gasketing material I bought from the automotive supply store. It comes in a big roll, and I just cut those up and glued those to the dowels with spray adhesive. I made these up originally for a mandolin that I built, so they're not quite wide enough, or they don't quite open far enough to go all the way around the guitar, but I can use them on the upper half of the guitar, so it's going to give me enough clamps to adequately clamp the guitar top on. Okay, everything looks good. That's the glue up. I'll just wait for it to dry. I'll leave that overnight.
For woodworking plans, tips, and techniques, visit randallprice.com.